7 reasons why a narcissist doesn't love their children. Speech in the style of Tony Robbins. People opening, high energy and engaging. How many of you in this room have ever doubted your worth? How many of you have ever wondered why the love you craved as a child never truly came? I see you. I feel you, and today we're going to rip the lid off a painful truth. One that so many have lived through, but never fully understood. If you were raised by a narcissistic parent, you know what it's like to feel unseen, unheard, and unimportant. But I'm here to tell you something. Their lack of love was never about you. So let's break the chains today. Let's expose the truth, because once you see the pattern, you can break it. Once you break it, you can rewrite your story. And once you rewrite your story, you become unstoppable. Here are 7 reasons why a narcissist doesn't love their children and how you can take your power back. They see their child as an extension of themselves. A narcissist doesn't see a child as a unique individual. They see a mirror, a reflection of their own ego. If you fit their narrative, they'll praise you. If you don't, they'll reject you. But listen up, that rejection wasn't about you. It was about them. They use love as a tool for control. Love should be unconditional, right? Not for a narcissist. They give affection when you obey and they withhold it when you don't. That's not love. That's manipulation. And guess what? You can break free from it. Real love is not earned. It's given freely. Their ego always comes first. A narcissistic parent will always put their needs, their wants, their reputation before their child's well-being. Why? Because their ego is fragile. They need constant validation, and if that means pushing you aside, so be it. But here's the truth. You don't need their validation. You are already enough. They are incapable of empathy. You ever try to explain your feelings to them only to be met with indifference? That's because they can't feel what you feel. They don't step into your shoes, they step on them. But here's the good news. You're here today because you have the power to create a different legacy. They compete instead of support. A good parent lifts their child up. A narcissist sees their child as competition. If you succeed, they feel threatened. If you shine too bright, they try to dim your light. But let me tell you something. You were meant to shine, and no one can take that away from you. They gaslight and rewrite history. Ever been told that your childhood wasn't that bad, that you're overreacting? That's gaslighting, and it's designed to keep you confused. But today, we are cutting through the fog. Your feelings are real, your experiences matter, and no one gets to rewrite your truth. They do not know how to love. Listen to me carefully. A narcissist doesn't love their children, not because their children are unlovable, but because they don't know how to love. Their love is transactional, conditional. It's broken. But here's what's not broken. You are worthy, and you have the ability to love in a way they never could. Today is the day you decide. Their story is not your story. Their love is not the love you will give. And their chains are not the ones you will carry forward. Stand up, step into your power, and love yourself the way they never could. Because you are unstoppable. A narcissist sees their child as a reflection, not an individual. Let's get one thing straight. Narcissists don't see people, they see mirrors. Everything in their world is about them, their needs, their wants, their image. And guess what? That includes their children. From the moment you were born, they didn't look at you and think, wow, this is a whole new soul with a destiny of their own. No, they looked at you and thought, how does this child make me look? How do they fit into my story? And if you made them look good, if you obeyed, performed, and played the role they wanted, they praised you, they put you on a pedestal, they called you their golden child. But the second you stepped outside their expectations, the moment you showed independence, boom, love withdrawn, approval gone, rejection delivered. That's not parenting, that's possession. A real parent nurtures, a narcissist controls. A real parent loves you for who you are. A narcissist loves you for who they want you to be. And if you don't fit their perfect little mold, they will try to force you, break you, or discard you. You see, to them, a child isn't a separate human being with dreams, struggles, and emotions. No, a child is an accessory, an ornament, a tool. You exist to enhance their identity. You exist to validate them. And if you fail to do that, if you challenge them, if you demand to be seen as your own person, the punishment is swift and brutal. They shame you, they belittle you, they call you ungrateful, difficult, selfish. Why? Because in their world, it is unacceptable for you to have your own identity. Your job is to make them look good. Your job is to serve their narrative. Your job is to be the perfect little reflection of their ego. But let me tell you something, that's a lie. That's not love, that's control. A real parent sees you, hears you, values you for you, not for what you can give them, not for how you make them look, not for how well you obey, but for the incredible, unique, powerful human being that you are. And I want you to understand this at your core. Their inability to love you as an individual was never your fault. It was their limitation, not your lack. Because you were never meant to be a reflection of someone else. You were meant to be you, fully, completely, unapologetically you. And the moment you claim that, the moment you break free from their distorted lens, that is the moment you begin to live. That is the moment you take back your power. That is the moment you rewrite your destiny. Because you are not a mirror. You are a masterpiece. They manipulate love to maintain control. Love should be the safest, most unconditional force in your life. But with a narcissistic parent, love is a weapon. It's currency. It's a tool they use to shape you into what they want. They don't give love freely. They don't give love without expectation. No, love from a narcissist comes with a price. And that price is your obedience, your compliance, your submission. One day they're showering you with affection, telling you how special you are, making you feel on top of the world, and the next, the cold shoulder, the silent treatment, the look of disgust that makes you feel like you are the biggest disappointment in the world. Why? Because they are conditioning you, training you, teaching you that their love is something you have to earn, and if you want it, you better play by their rules. So what happens? You become a master at reading them. You learn how to walk on eggshells. You anticipate their moods, their needs, their expectations. You twist yourself into whatever shape they demand just to avoid the pain of their rejection. But let me ask you something. Is that love or is that control? Because real love doesn't disappear when you make a mistake. Real love doesn't punish you for being yourself. Real love doesn't manipulate, withhold, or make you feel like you are only worthy when you are pleasing someone else. A narcissist can't love freely because they don't know how. Their version of love is a transaction. It's conditional. It's about power, not connection. And when you grow up in that environment, you start to believe that all love works that way. You start to think, if I'm not perfect, I won't be loved. If I don't please others, I'll be abandoned. But let me tell you right now, that is a lie. That is their dysfunction, not your destiny. Love isn't something you have to chase. Love isn't something you have to earn. Love is something you deserve just by being who you are. And the moment you stop chasing their approval, the moment you stop believing their version of love, that is the moment you step into your power. That is the moment you claim the love that is rightfully yours. Because you are never meant to be controlled, you are meant to be cherished. Their ego always comes before their child's needs. A real parent sacrifices for their child. A narcissist sacrifices their child for themselves. And that is one of the hardest, most painful truths to accept. You needed love, they needed validation. You needed safety, they needed control. You needed to be seen, they needed to be worshipped. And in that dynamic, your needs never stood a chance. If you ever wondered why your feelings were dismissed, why your pain was ignored, why your achievements were either stolen or downplayed, it's because in their world, nothing matters more than their ego. Nothing. When you succeeded, did they celebrate you or did they find a way to make it about them? When you were struggling, did they support you? Or did they tell you to stop being dramatic because your pain inconvenienced them? When you needed them the most, were they there? Or were they too busy tending to their own needs, their own image, their own agenda? from this episode about abundance. Because here's the truth. A narcissistic parent doesn't see their child as a priority. They see them as a tool. And tools don't have needs. They have functions. So you learn to shrink, to suppress your emotions, to hide your struggles, to never ask for too much, because deep down, you knew the answer would always be the same: I don't have time for you. And that creates a wound that whispers, you are not important. Your needs don't matter. But I am here to tell you that is a lie. Your needs do matter. Your voice does deserve to be heard. Your feelings are valid. And when you step into that truth, when you start meeting your own needs with the love they never gave you, that is when healing begins. Because their ego will never come first in your life again. Your well-being will, your happiness will, your future will. And that is the power they will never take from you again. They lack the ability to feel true empathy. It's the bridge that connects people. It's the ability to step into someone else's world, feel their emotions, and respond with love and understanding. But when you're dealing with a narcissist, that bridge doesn't exist. You've felt it, haven't you? That hollow, disconnected look when you were hurting, that cold, dismissive response when you needed comfort, that twisted moment when, instead of acknowledging your pain, they turned the conversation back to themselves, because in their world, your feelings don't matter unless they affect them. And let's be clear, this isn't because you weren't worth empathy. This isn't because you didn't deserve love and support. This is because they are emotionally bankrupt. They do not have the ability to truly feel for someone else because their entire existence is centered around one thing: themselves. You could be in tears, breaking down, desperate for them to just see you, to hear you, to care. And what did they do? Brush it off, tell you that you were being too sensitive. Maybe they even got angry at you for making them look bad. Because to them, emotions are not something to be honored. Emotions are something to be managed, controlled, shut down, especially if those emotions don't serve their agenda. And here's what's really toxic. When you grow up in that kind of environment, you start to question your own emotions. You start to wonder, am I too sensitive? Am I overreacting? Am I asking for too much? No. You are asking for the bare minimum. You are asking for what every child deserves: love, connection, validation. But they couldn't give it to you, not because you weren't worthy, but because they didn't have it to give. But here's the truth. You don't need their empathy to heal. You don't need their validation to know that your feelings are real. You don't need their approval to start honoring your emotions the way they should have been honored all along. Because you have empathy, you have the ability to connect, to love, to nurture things they will never understand. And that is your power. That is what makes you different. That is what makes you capable of creating the love you never received. So don't waste another second waiting for them to feel something they will never feel. Instead, start giving yourself the compassion they never could. Start building relationships with people who do have empathy. Start surrounding yourself with people who see you, hear you, value you. Because you are not too sensitive. You are not too much. You are not broken. You are human. And your emotions are your superpower, not your weakness. They compete with their children instead of supporting them. Let me ask you something. When you achieve something great, did they celebrate you, or did they find a way to make it about them? Did they lift you up, or did they tear you down? Because a narcissistic parent doesn't see their child's success as something to be proud of. No, they see it as a threat, a challenge, a spotlight that isn't shining on them, and that is unacceptable to them. Maybe you got good grades, and instead of congratulating you, they compared you to someone else. Maybe you started excelling at something and they found a way to criticize you. Maybe you finally started stepping into your own confidence and suddenly they were mocking you, belittling you, making you feel small. Why? Because in their minds, they are the star. They are the most important person in the room. And the moment you start shining, the moment you start getting attention, the moment you start stepping into your own greatness, Their fragile ego sees it as competition. A real parent wants their child to rise. A real parent cheers their child on, lifts them up, helps them reach even greater heights. But a narcissistic parent, they feel threatened. And instead of lifting you up, they will try to bring you down. And that, my friend, is why you never felt like you were enough. Because every time you got close to believing in yourself, they reminded you of every reason you shouldn't. Every time you felt proud, they found a way to humble you. Every time you started to shine, they dimmed your light. But hear me right now. You were never too bright. They were just too insecure. Your success is not a threat. Your greatness is not something to be ashamed of. Your light was never meant to be dimmed just to make someone else comfortable. And today is the day you take it back. Today is the day you say, I will not shrink to make others feel bigger. Today is the day you rise into the power that was always inside you. Because you were not born to be in their shadow. You were born to shine. And nothing can take that away from you. They gaslight and rewrite history. You ever look back at your childhood and wonder, was it really that bad? Am I just remembering things wrong? That's not an accident, that's gaslighting. And it is one of the most powerful, most insidious weapons a narcissist will use against you. You bring up something hurtful they did, and what do they say? That never happened. You're imagining things. You're too sensitive. You express your pain, and what do? Flip it on you. Make you the bad guy. Make you question yourself. Make you wonder if you're just crazy. Why? Because if they can control your perception of reality, they can control you. If they can make you doubt your own memories, they can escape accountability. If they can rewrite history, they can keep you trapped in a version of the past that serves them, not you. But let me tell you something. Your experiences were real. Your pain was real. Your memories are not a lie. They want you to doubt yourself because the moment you stop doubting, the moment you see through their manipulation, the moment you reclaim your truth, they lose power over you. And that's what today is about, taking back your truth, taking back your power, taking back. You don't need their permission to heal. You don't need their validation to know what happened to you. You don't need them to agree with your reality for it to be real, because your truth is yours. And no one can take that away from you. They don't love because they don't know how, but you can break the cycle. And now we get to the core truth, the one that sets you free. A narcissist doesn't love their children, not because their children are unlovable, but because they don't know how to love. Their love is broken. Their love is conditional. Their love is about control, not connection. But here's what they didn't count on. You standing here today, breaking free. You refusing to let their version of love define you. You realizing that just because they didn't love you the way you deserved doesn't mean unworthy of love. Because you are, and you are going to break the cycle. You are going to love in a way they never could. You are going to create the kind of life they never gave you. You are going to rise to heal, to thrive. And because their love will never define you. Your love will. And that is how you win. That is how you reclaim your power. That is how you step into your destiny. You are not their reflection. You are your own power. Let's bring this home. For too long, you were made to believe that love had to be earned, that your worth was measured by how much you pleased someone else, that if you were just good enough, obedient enough, successful enough, maybe, just maybe, you would finally get the love you deserved. But here's the truth that changes everything. It was never about you. It was always about them. Their inability to love, that was their limitation, not your lack. Their manipulation, their control, their endless need to compete, gaslight, and belittle, it was never a reflection of who you were. It was a reflection of who. And now you have a choice. You can continue carrying their wounds, their dysfunction, their distorted version of love, or you can put it all down. You can step into the truth of who you are, not who they made you believe you were. because you are not their reflection. You are not their puppet. You are not the broken, unworthy version of yourself they try to create. You are powerful. You are resilient. You are whole. And today is the day you reclaim yourself. Today is the day you break free from their cycle. Today is the day you stop waiting for them to change and start becoming the person you were always meant to be. Because your life, it's yours now. Your heart, it's yours now. Your future, it's yours now. And it's time to rise, time to heal, time to love yourself the way they never could. Because you are more than enough. You always were. And now you finally know it.